Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In our last lesson, we looked at slope whenever it's already graphed, and we counted the rise over run. Well, there's another way that you can calculate the slope as well, and that's whenever you are given the 2 points or coordinate pairs already. So, what do I mean by if given 2 points we can find the slope? So if these are my 2 coordinate pairs, I can use those and plug in the slope formula in order to find the slope for it. So what is the slope formula? The slope formula is the slope, m, equals the value of y2 minus the value of y1, I'll show you what that means in a minute, over the value of x2 minus the value of x1. So I'm going to leave our slope formula there. And we're going to look at our 2 coordinate pairs. Now the first thing I do before I start to plug this into the formula is I label my coordinate pairs. Why? Because it'll help you plug them back into the formula. We know that in a coordinate pair, we have an x value and a y value. Well, I have 2 of them. I have the first x value, so I'm going to call that x1, and I have another first value. That's y1. So in this first coordinate pair, there's my x1, there's my y1. x1 and y1. So over here, this is my second coordinate pair. This is my x value, this is my y value, but since it's my second coordinate pair, I have x to the second, y to the second. So now that I've labeled them, all I need to do is plug those values in to where they go in this formula. So I have y2. Well, y2 is the number 2. Minus y1. Well, y1 is 5. Over, because that's my formula, over x2. Well, x2 is 9 minus x1. x1 is 8. Well, now we're just going to subtract the numerator and subtract the denominator. 2 minus 5 gives me negative 3. 9 minus 8 gives me 1. So negative 3 over 1 is my slope, but I can simplify that. Since it's over 1, I can divide it. So it simplifies, negative 3 over 1 simplifies to just negative 3. So using that slope formula, I was able to determine that the slope of that line from those 2 coordinate pairs was going to be negative 3. So let's look at another example. First thing I need to do is label my coordinate pairs. This is the x value, that's the y value. This is the first x, this is the first y. Over here, this is my x value, this is my y value. This is my second x, this is my second y. Now that allows me to easily plug these back into my formula. I have y2, that's 14, minus y1. y1 is 18. I have x2. x2 is 10. Minus x1. x1 is negative 6. Now, if you remember back to an earlier lesson, we talked about integers. When you have minus a negative, what can you make that? That's a positive or a plus. So anytime you have minus a negative, it means the same as a plus. So I'm actually just going to rewrite this whole thing. 14 minus 18. And then instead of 10 minus negative 6, 10 plus 6. So now I'm ready to solve. 14 minus 18, negative 4. 10 plus 6 is 16. Is that my final answer? Not yet, because I look at that fraction and I know that I can simplify it. I can reduce each of these by dividing by negative 4. So divided by 4, sorry. So if I divide the top by 4, it leaves me with -1. 16 divided by 4 is 4. My suggestion, if you're not good at reducing fractions, is when you get a fraction as your slope, plug it into the calculator to reduce for you. And I've already shown you how to do that in Desmos. So Desmos calculator would easily allow you to reduce these fractions. But that gives me my slope of -1/4. Another example. First thing I need to do is label my x and y values. This is my first x, this is my first y. This is my second x, this is my second y. So now I'm able to easily plug these in. So y2, 11, minus y1, 18, equals x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is 5. 11 minus 18 is -7. 4 minus 5 is -1. Now, we have -7 over -1. -7 divided by -1. When you divide two negatives, your answer is going to be a positive. So our slope of m is going to end up -7 divided by -1 gives me a positive 7. One more. What's the first thing we need to do? We need to label our coordinates. x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's go ahead and plug them in. y2 is 7 minus y1 is -8 over x2 is -6 minus x1, which is 3. Did you notice up here I have minus a negative? So that means I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite 7 plus 8, because minus a negative is the same as a plus. And then I can just do -6 minus 3. So I'll have a little line there to separate them. So now, let's just solve these across. 7 plus 8 is 15. -6 minus 3 gives me -9. Can I reduce that fraction? Some of you are probably like, I don't know. Use your calculator to see if you can reduce this. I know that I can reduce this by dividing the numerator and denominator, by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. -9 divided by 3 is -3. So I know my final answer is -5 over 3. All right, that brings us to the end of today's lesson. Go back into Google Classroom and work on today's homework assignment. If you have any questions, please refer back to this video. If you still have questions, reach out to me. We'll see you next time.